mighty Mendenhall Glacier grinds down from the mountains behind Juneau, scouring and shaping the earth. The Mendenhall originates at 4,500 feet in the Juneau Icefield. The ice created there moves a few feet a day on its 12-mile, 80-year journey to Mendenhall Lake. This magnificent river of ice is Southeast Alaska's most popular scenic attraction and one of the most visited glaciers in the world. The magnificent Mendenhall Glacier is but one of more than 3 dozen glaciers flowing from the Juneau Icefield. North America's 5th largest icefield blankets over 1,500 square miles, stretches nearly 100 miles north to south and 45 miles east to west, and it contains more than half the glaciers in the Alaska Coast Range Mountains. The Juneau Icefield, the Mendenhall Glacier, and the surrounding recreation area are part of the Tongass National Forest. This great green temperate rainforest covers most of southeast Alaska and is managed by the U.S. Forest Service. For millions of years, the Earth experienced cooling and warming cycles. During the Great Ice Age, ice covered a third of the planet and half of Alaska. About 15,000 years ago, the climate warmed. Ice released its hold on the land and retreated. Warming and cooling cycles produced 4 smaller glacial advances and retreats. The most recent advance, called the Little Ice Age, began about 3,000 years ago. Alaska's glaciers, including the Mendenhall, are remnants of the Little Ice Age. Just before the American Revolution, about 250 years ago, the glaciers began their most recent retreat. Theories differ as to why.
We're still not certain about Antarctica and Greenland, the big polar ice caps. Certainly throughout most of Alaska, we've seen a general retreat, which certainly reflects change in climate and probably reflects a general global warming. I think the add-on question is whether the global warming is being now influenced by human activity.
Each winter, more than 100 feet of snow falls on the Juneau Icefield. Eventually, the accumulated weight compacts snow layers from previous years into solid ice. The Mendenhall, like all glaciers, is born in these collection areas, or cirques. When snow accumulation becomes greater than the cirque, ice overflows. Aided by gravity, the glacier moves downward like a frozen ice river, carving a U-shaped valley. Moving glaciers connect around peaks called nunataks that jut through the ice. Mountaintops scoured by earlier glaciers appear rounded rather than pointed. Rocks plucked from the bedrock and frozen in the ice etch grooves and striations in the bedrock. Trim lines indicate the previous height of a glacier by showing abrupt changes in vegetation. Rocks scoured from surrounding valley walls create dark debris lines or moraines along the edges and down the center of glaciers. Crevasses, up to 150 feet deep, form when the moving ice bends over uneven ground. The unique crystal structure of glacier ice gives it a distinctive blue color. Glacier ice absorbs all colors of the visible light spectrum except blue, which passes through. When the dense blue ice is exposed to air and warmer temperatures, the crystalline structure begins to break down. Then all colors of light pass through and the ice appears white. Water flowing from glaciers carries finely ground materials called rock flour or glacial silt. These suspended particles give Mendenhall Lake its gray color. The terminus, or face, of the Mendenhall Glacier stretches about 1.5 miles at its widest point between Bullard and McGinnis Mountains. Like most of the glaciers in southeast Alaska, the Mendenhall is retreating. That means the melting at the face is greater than the glacier's forward flow. The Mendenhall loses about 60 feet a year. The Mendenhall has retreated about 2.5 miles since its furthest advance about 250 years ago. In the 1930s, the glacier still covered the rocks where the Mendenhall Glacier Visitor Center now stands.
As you can see, the glacier extends well beyond where we can see about a total of 2.
Today, the Mendenhall Glacier attracts more than 300,000 visitors a year. Many learn about the glacier from information presented at the Visitor Center. Learning also takes place outside while exploring the varied opportunities available in the Mendenhall Glacier Recreation Area.
Dirty it is.
Oh, yes.
Instead of looking up at the glacier from the visitor center, many choose to look down on the glacier from airplanes or helicopters. Flights allow first-hand viewing of the ice field. Helicopters land on the glacier where visitors can walk on stable sections of ice.
This is just like a whole other world up here.
It's just so grand, you know, it's just something that you never think you're going to experience.
The scenery is just so beautiful. It's so different from where we're from.
In the winter, most Mendenhall Glacier visitors are Juneau residents. The frozen lake and surrounding area offer recreation in a stunning setting. In addition to offering year-round recreational opportunities, the Mendenhall and other Juneau Icefield glaciers serve as a summer laboratory. Dr. Maynard Miller started leading scientists and students onto the ice field in 1948. Each summer, researchers return. They live in permanent camps located on rock outcroppings and conduct research across the ice field.
It measures the incoming solar radiation and then the outgoing radiation.
134, 14.34 minutes west.
I'd say 24.
Researchers spend only a couple of months on the ice. However, other life on the glacier exists year-round. For example, red algae creates food through photosynthesis and is itself food for other year-round icefield residents like snow fleas. Lichens survive on bare rock near the ice field, and in a rock outcropping in the midst of the ice field, researchers even found a forest of sorts.
This tree is pretty unique because it's the only one that we've found so far on this whole Nunatak, and it's a Sitka spruce. It's probably about 60 to 75 years old, so this dwarfed shape actually represents a lot of years of growth.
6 and 260. Okay.
Whether a 2-month summer scientist or a 2-hour visitor, those spending time at the Mendenhall Glacier gain a better appreciation of the world during a colder time. They also experience the power of ice to shape the earth.
Just to know that these huge rivers, quote, rivers of ice, have sculpted all the terrain that you see around Alaska. All the terrain here has been modified by glacier ice, either during the last ice age or ones prior to it. And in the mountain reaches, it's still happening now.
The magnificent Mendenhall Glacier satisfies the eye and challenges the mind. In addition, being close to one of nature's powerful forces has a way of putting modern matters into a different perspective.
When the weather breaks and it's calm and it's beautiful, you sit up on these summits or on a high ridge, and there's a strange thing that happens to you. You begin to sense your own minuteness and the shortness of life, and yet at the same time, in a split second, you sense the eternity of the universe around you.